Oh, yes. I'm just a little concerned about this final solution. Oh, maybe it's time to clip your toenails and find out exactly what happens. I noticed an irritation in my own mind whenever I thought that I should bite a fingernail. Oh. So why don't we just see if we can't reverse the electric grid that you sewed in? Now, these court notices, yes. Does the defendant get a copy of every hearing? And why would the public defender's office not give me my copy? Oh, you sent it to the wrong address, the same address where Mike had said that it was just a practical joke that he had a picture of my sister. I'm just wondering why this is. As if I did not see the fraud. Oops, somebody has a final solution to those that won't go the way. Now, is it the slow gassing death of those that have the COPD, or is it, well, the final solution? Each and every individual that doesn't want to go the way because of your top secret species that you think is more important than the laws of the United States. Now, I know, okay, that I just documented about 20 different incidents of fraud. And when I inform you that the laws being violated, your excuse was to say that I was a mentally ill homeless man instead of actually looking at the evidence. Now, all it takes for me to be able to see fraud is a simple Google of a name. Now, if the sheriff's department, yeah, could enforce the fraud laws, I'd like to sue you. And then if you would enforce my victims' rights, I'd like to reside in a hotel, yes. And I'd like to speak to Marilyn about why her husband uses fraud, yes, to deceive the world about her actual image when you can see multiple examples of exactly what she looks like. Seems somewhat fraudulent on the part of a husband that you say she wants to live with. Now, I know you don't want to enforce the laws because you don't want to get sued, and you've been using various forms of fraud. Something you dislike talking about, something you're covering up. Maybe it's time for Mike to cut his toenails, or Wayne, ooch, or any of the police officers in Jefferson County, ooch. Well, there's some fire departments, yes. Now, I know how important it is to prevent fires, yes, but I'm thinking that once I get to sue, because he will, the knowledge of fraud that the fire department has, that the sheriffs and police departments have committed, they're complicit in refusing. Excuse me, fire commissioner, why don't you clip your toenails today? Fire chief? Chief. Why don't we get some toenail clippers and find out exactly what employees of the county are in the family and see if we can't reverse. Oh, look at FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency of the Department of Homeland Security. Yes. Could you get me those FEMA camps that are already wired for that end of the civilization doomsday? You know, I had thought that I'd want to have ownership of all the known FEMA camps. Since they're already wired for broadband, yes, give me 20 miles down every known and unknown fingerprinting machine that's been manufactured for the last 40 years. Yes. How many individuals would want to purchase a used fingerprinting machine? And then get me all the internet access, yes, in every satellite location above all the FEMA camps so that if we had some sort of emergency evacuation situation, oh, I feel like itchy scratchy. Look at here. My chin seems to be talking to me. Yes. Now, the National Fire Academy in Emmitsburg, Maryland, is training programs for firefighters. Ooh, why don't you get me all the fire training academies, yes, of each and every state where a firefighter, yes, could go to learn about firefighting. And then you could get a job in a fire department. Now I know, okay, you feel a compulsion to bite your nails today as if you were connected to just that trickle of electricity that goes. Now, I'm wanting to know, okay? Why don't you get me the FEMA camps? Now, for every individual in Homeland Security that says that you can know a fraud without me suing you, it's not the oath of office that you say when you get employed. It's not your membership in any federal employee union. No, it's not. It's not the fraud and waste of being a government federal employee. It's not all of those. Let's say I did tell you about the fraud of you having knowledge of police and sheriff's departments that refuse to enforce the laws of the United States because they don't want to get sued and you don't want to make them do it. Exactly what is the pecking order of authority within law enforcement? Let's say you're Homeland Security, right? Sheriff decides to go on a nice trip and goes through border control. Yes. You're like, Sheriff, do you know of the fraud of issuing protection orders because of the use of forgeries? Yes. He says, sure we do, and you can't arrest me because I'm the sheriff. Exactly what jurisdiction is not the jurisdiction of the elected oath of identity? There won't be any traveling, will there? Sheriffs, police chiefs. Because as soon as you try, oh, what board? Oh my gosh. Just to think that I could sue every individual in Homeland Security that is very much complicit, in fact, a part of the conspiracy to deprive Americans of their rights. Now, as much as you thought you were Customs and Border Patrol, you're doing all these joint operations together. You're well, I think it's time for you to clip your toenails. You seem to be a little blustery. I know. Why don't we have a fire drill? Go through and pull the fire alarms in each and every courthouse and see how. Well, wouldn't that be something? Oh my gosh. There's a top secret place underneath the court where you have a fake. You know, I know it's an arrestable offense to pull a fire alarm when there is no fire, but let's say I ran underneath the courthouse after I did it. And you're like, who did that? Who pulled the fire alarm? You know we don't know about the top secret underneath the court. Well, you have your kangaroo court and your kangaroo jail, you stupid asshole. Because they get fire. Now you say it's against the law to pull the fire alarm and then run underneath the building where you have no building permit.